I have never played a Turok game before, and I've heard amazing things about Nightdive Studios ports. And the Turok collection just got a PS5 upgrade. It's currently on sale for €21 or probably in and around $20. And as is tradition on this channel, I have to tell you all about this Turok remaster and why it shows us that remasters matter, and also how it shows us that this is how you remaster games. Okay, so I'm going to open this video talking about Glover, which is another N64 game that got remastered and recently ported to PS5. I just did a video on it and I was talking about how when it comes to remasters, obviously you can get amazing remasters that give you all of these cool quality of life features and different filters and upgrades and loads of new settings, all this stuff, and ideally that is what they should be. But what I also said was, if they just give you the bare minimum of the game running on a modern console, ultimately that is okay sometimes. Because in the case of Glover, the original game ran at 20 FPS, and on the PC you could up it to 30 or 60 FPS, and as the frame rate increased, loads of physics problems started to happen. Now, I'm no game developer, but I assume if you wanted to get it running at 30 or 60 FPS, you would have to almost build the game from the ground up, because there is definitely something to do with the physics tied to the frame rate of the game, and that's what was causing all the problems. And I got a bit of backlash by saying, at the very least, the game is now accessible on modern consoles, which is better than nothing. And I will stand by that. I brought up the House of the Dead remake and how that isn't a great remake. It looks ugly. It doesn't run very well on the Switch. But at the very least, it is playable on modern consoles. And it's interesting going from the Glover remaster onto the Turok remaster. So this just got a PS5 upgrade. And I heard amazing things about Nightdive Studios ports. They've ported a whole load of games in recent years, and Turok is a series that I have absolutely zero experience with. I'm not even sure if I've ever really watched gameplay of. I know it was an N64 shooter, and I have a fair bit of nostalgia for the N64. It was the first console I ever had. I remember playing GoldenEye back in the day. I liked it, but now, if you play that game today, it is awful on the N64. But with GoldenEye, I heard great things. If you download a PC version of it, you can run it with a mouse and keyboard at really high frame rate and really high resolution, and then the game gets to shine. And that is what I want to hit home with this Turok port. It is absolutely phenomenal what Nightdive Studio have done to this game, because I just played the first couple of levels of Turok 1, and it's a really, really smooth first-person shooter with wide open, expansive levels with loads of secrets, loads of different weapons. And if I was playing this on the N64 now, especially the PAL version, which would have run at like 22 frames a second, and I would have had to use the N64 controller, none of that would have shone through, because in the past 5 or 6 years I have played first-person shooters on my N64. I played the Star Wars first-person shooter, I played GoldenEye, and they just don't play very well. And when you're playing it on original hardware with that controller, it's impossible to see the special sauce that a lot of these games have, because they do. Some of these console first-person shooters from this era are absolutely amazing. The same goes with Time Splitters. I played Time Splitters on my PS2 only last year, and I could see that that game is really fun. It has really inventive levels, some really cool weapons, but it's kind of old and it doesn't control very well. So moving over to the game, I have to start in Total Biscuit style in the options menu, because I was absolutely blown away when I saw this. So you go in, you can change all your inputs. You have motion control so that you can aim with the motion sensor in your controller. In the gameplay, you can change all of these settings, which is crazy. But one thing that I love, this game is crazy with the head bobbing. You're moving around, the head bobs up and down, you're going everything, and it was genuinely making me a bit motion sick. But you can change every single setting. So you can have some head bobbing and maybe a tiny bit of turn bobbing, and maybe you don't want any strafe bobbing. Absolutely crazy, all this stuff. You can customize the HUD. Like, what is going on? This is genuinely the best remaster slash port of an old game I think I have ever seen. So just to show off all of the head bobbing, if I go in here and I restore these to default, I just wanted to show you how head bobby it all is. As you can see, there's just a lot of movement, and to be honest, it made me quite sick. So yeah, you're going around exploring these prehistoric levels. There's health pickups like any other shooter of this era. And that's the thing, I absolutely adore this style of shooter. But as I was saying, imagine I was playing this on the N64. I couldn't aim. I mean, I could probably jump at the same time. But up there, you have like the secret portals. And that's what I love about this game. These boomer shooters, if you want to call them that, are definitely known for their exploration, and realistically, that's my favorite thing about them. Like, I remember playing Duke Nukem on, I believe, did I play it on the PS3 for the first time? I think I did. And I went into the cinema, and then you realize, oh, I can go in behind the cinema screen. And then it just trains your brain to think about everything. Like, absolutely everything. Where are the secrets? Where's this secret door that I can go through? And my first exposure to this kind of a shooter... Well, is this a boomer shooter? I'm not sure, but like these old style shooters, I guess it was GoldenEye, but I was very young when I was playing that. But my first real exposure was actually Wolfenstein 3D when that was on the PS3. I remember buying that on the PSN. And again, that just introduces you to, even though that game's very rigid, obviously you can only move, you know, you can move one way basically, look around, there's no aiming up or down, I believe, if I remember correctly. There's no jumping either. But it trains your brain to thinking, okay, I need to look out for all the secret doors and secret hidden areas and all this sort of stuff. And that's just the best thing about these, that sense of exploration in these massive levels. Now, from playing the first couple of levels, I've noticed one thing that's really great in Turok. So as you explore the levels, you find parts of keys to then combine into one key to unlock a later level. And obviously these are mandatory to progress through the game. And you can imagine that in an old game like this, there could be some frustration where one was kind of hidden too much and there was almost no way of you finding it. But so far, I have found every single piece of a key because the game has this really clever language of telling you where things are. Like, you'll be on a tall platform and you will notice that there's a massive drop off the edge of a platform. So if you jump off, you would die. But as you're walking around, there will be a massive drop, but you'll see like the top of a tree. Then you'll be like, oh, what's the top of the tree doing there? And then you look down, you realize, oh, that's where I can go. And then you jump down, it takes you on this little shortcut route, or you find an extra secret, or it leads you to a place where there's another key. So every single key that I have found, I just found naturally. I didn't have to go to a guide. I didn't have to wander around aimlessly. Like, I mean, I've played the old Doom games. I've played old Duke Nukem as well. And I've run into them problems too, where I've been walking around the level, all the enemies are dead. I'm like, where do I go? And eventually you find it. But so far, I haven't had to do any of that, and that's something that I just don't expect from a game like this. Since I know nothing about Turok, let me know which ones are the best, which ones do you recommend I play? Should I play all three, or is one of them kind of crap in comparison to the others? Because I'm very interested in this series now that I have all three of them, and I probably will do a follow-up video in the future. And also, what are your thoughts on Remasters? Do you agree with what I said at the start of the video, or do you think they always have to be the absolutely amazing remasters and they're the only ones that you'll buy? So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you all on the next video.